Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
It was actually this is the portion which we have used as the lowland valley, which is a 6,000 acres starting from here up to this side.
That's a carved out area.
Yes, and it goes up to the and this is elevated upland portion, which is not suitable for us. And here there is again upper upland area which is not really suitable for the lowland political conditions. And this is our plan of this as room lines. And we have the pumping station on this side. So
The what? The
pumping station is on this side. Then it takes water from here. So we wanted to just show that this is where we have initially started. The major area was not done with anything. And that is the irrigation hospital.
Is there any? How much is the upland area that you have?
It is close to 3,000 hectares is upland on both sides.
Right.
Here it is around.
But it's not good for rice.
It is not good for the.
Or you can use for other crops.
Yeah, we can use for other
What
crops.
do you plan to use for?
Maybe later once we stabilize on this, we can go in for cashews.
Yeah.
And it's the same.
Why can't you grow soybean on that?
Soybean is possible.
Soybean we will be using, as a regeneration for nitrogen.
Yeah.
So we'll be doing,
Yeah, because
rotation.
if you grow soybean there, you can actually use your soybean in rotation. I mean, not in rotation, but also, yeah, it can actually rotate.
We have actually planned for every 6 seasons. After that, we will go in for a crop rotation with soybean. That's what basically we are planning.
Okay. Okay. All right.
So this is the developed area. Out of this, this is where we are. This is Canal, which is being harvested now.
You don't problem. How is that?
100 hectares of land area, and out of this 9,300, as of now, we have developed 4,300 hectares, 4,200 hectares. We have already developed with precision leveling, with all the irrigation schemes, canals, drainages, everything which has been built in now. And out of this 4,200 hectares, we have already done planting on 3,000 hectares. And this is the third season, and we have already started harvesting a week before. And these green portions, which is shown, it is planted with different varieties. After selecting varieties from 64 varieties, which is tested out here for past 4 years. And out of that, most promising varieties are Faro 44, Faro 52, L34, L19, and we are trying out some of the other foreign varieties also to get an improved, better potential varieties. And this entire area, which is, we can see that this is all green areas, which is planted, and this is into third harvest. These are areas which is already cleared, plowed, harrowed, and these brown portions are already precision level, because for water retention, we need to have a very proper leveling for the field, which we can see when we go into the fields. And this yellow patch is where we are doing the leveling as of today. And 4,200 hectares is finished, and the entire plan for this farm is 6,000 hectares to be planted twice in a year, one during the wet season and the second one during the dry season. That makes it into 2 cycles of crop, which will effectively be at 12,000 hectares of harvest every year, which is happening. We are clearly aligning this wet season into the rainy months, and we finish off all the planting between. We have a window of 40 days to plant, and we have another window of 40 days to harvest, so that we can clearly put this into 2 cycles, so that in a 6 months time we will have 1 crop cycle which is taken. 4 months is the total crop duration of the crop. And we usually plant wet season crop by July 1st to August 10th, and we start harvesting from November 1st to December 10th. And the second crop cycle during the dry season, we start planting by November 10th, finishes by December 20th, and the harvest is in mid-March to April end. That is the overall plan for this project. And the 6,000 hectares, currently we are on 3,000 hectares planted. In this July, we will be planting 4,600 hectares, because we are doing the leveling even now. And in 2015 July, we will be planting the entire 6,000 hectares, which is coming under this project. That is the overall plan for it.
And what's the average yield you get?
We have got an average yield of 5.5 metric tons, with a range between 4.85 to 7.4 metric tons.
Okay.
And L34 is very, very promising. And Faro 44, Faro 52, it is having an excellent quality of rice, which is grain length. Actually, it is between 6.7 to 7 millimeters of grain length, which is, and L34 also is having a good grain length.
The Faro 44, Faro 52 is what we distribute to also to farmers
Yes.
in our GES program.
Yes, sir.
So that meets the consumer quality requirements well.
For sure.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
It gives an excellent quality rice, which we have produced even earlier also from Makodi Bedware mills. We have produced Faro 44 and Faro 52, which is having excellent cooking quality. And it gives one of the best rice which can compete effectively with imported rice or any other international.
Does it compete with, or is it better than?
Better than, for sure. And so when I said so, this is where with this mill that that is going to be coming up, we want to place it a step above the imported rice, and it will be for sure we will be achieving that.
Very good. Thanks.
And we have started this project in we got the investment approval in 2011, October 21st, and we have started physically doing this project in 2012 by March 9.
What's the total size of investment here?
It is already, we have spent 12 billion naira as of March 31st this year, March 31st last month. And when the project is completed, it is going to be double the investment that we have already put in.
Okay, so in total, the total production from here is roughly what?
We are hopeful of getting 72,000 metric tons of paddy.
72,000
metric tons. That is at 12,000 hectares planted at an average yield of 6 metric tons.
Right. So that's for both season or just one season?
2 seasons.
2 seasons, 72,000 metric tons. So conversion that into milled rice would be
rice is 45,000 metric tons of finished rice.
45,000 metric tons of finished rice. That's
from this farm alone.
From this farm alone.
Yeah.
That's very significant. Now, with the kind of, this is a fantastic opportunity here to see the kind of thing we're talking about in Nigeria. You know, because as I said, you know, I don't see any reason why Nigeria should not be self-sufficient in rice. I see no reason why Nigeria should not be exporting rice. And I think I'm very excited with what I've seen, what I've begun to see here. We still go out to the field. But this tells you what Nigeria can be. You know, that Nigeria can, you know, if one farm is producing 72,000 metric tons of rice, you can imagine if we have more like this, plus all the other farmers you have in your neighboring environment producing more rice, you know, Nigeria should be the Thai rice producer for Africa. That's what it should be, you know. And I think I look forward to working very closely with Olam and other similarly minded companies that have confidence in our own economy, that have confidence that Nigeria will not be a net importer of rice, but Nigeria should be self-sufficient in rice and export rice. You know, he just said something which is very important. You know, all these areas are planted, he says, in Faro 44 and Faro 52. That is exactly the same variety that we distribute to all the rice farmers in this country today. When we started 3 years ago, the farmers in the country were not growing improved varieties. Today, all the farmers that are growing rice under the growth enhancement scheme have shifted to Faro 44 and Faro 52. You know, and you will begin to see that the revolution on rice will hit the market massively soon, and you will see that. You know, we are producing today more paddy than ever before as a country. You know, people say we couldn't do it. You know, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, almost 2.5 years ago, we started our rice transformation strategy when the president said we should launch it. You know, we produced in 2012, 2013, a total of 1.4 million metric tons of paddy rice. But by 2013 and 2014 dry season, we increased that by additional 2.94 million metric tons of rice. If you convert that into milled equivalent, just 2013, 2014, 2.94 million metric tons of paddy rice. That will give you about 1.9 million metric tons of rice. Milled rice, I'm talking about. Milled rice. High quality milled rice. Just heard him saying that the rice from here, and this is the same variety, he said it beats any rice that's coming in, right?
Sure.
Fantastic.
We are very confident on that.
You see, so it means that Nigeria is very close, because total amount we are importing is what? 2.2, 2.4, 2.3, 2.1. 6.2 million metric tons of rice. So what we need to do is more like this, mill more, have a lot more integrated rice mills. I am absolutely convinced that with the strategy that we're going to be working with Olam here, that we can use Olam as an example of what Nigeria can be and should be. You know, we should be exporting rice from here, and I'm confident that we will. So let's go out of the field.
Just give me up to this portion. Make I harvest and we go.
Don't do you, man. We'll see how far.
We're saying a journalist turned by rice pyramid.
But can say me?
Oh, yeah. This is rainbow.
As the center where we distribute the water to different parts of the farm. Right. Yeah, from the balancing dam, the water now goes to what we call our branch canals. So from the branch canals, we take the water into the block canals. The blocks are between 200 hectares to 300 hectares. Then from the branch canal, we go to the secondary canals. Now it is from the secondary canals where now we go into the individual strips. The strips are normally up to 28 hectares.
28 each.
Yeah, 28 hectares each. 1,000 meters long and then 28 meters wide. So we, right now from the pump station, we are at the maximum we can pump up to 6,000 liters per second.
4,000 liters per second.
So we've got four pumps right now. And each pump is 1,000 liters. So we pump according to the water that we need at any particular time.
How do you, so what do you use to power the pump?
And we've got two generators, 1,000 kVA each. Yes.
Okay.
So
We'll see that.
So that must be a high part of your cost.
Yes.
Yeah.
This side, which has got about 500 hectares. We also use this one for the
But 18 of them were abandoned in Nigeria. We can revive.
and get an understanding of what it is. Yeah. So the media folks are here. That we also go using our GS program. So can you explain what is this? And this is a great variety here.
This is a variety which is developed by Africa Rice Center for West Africa, and this is part of the GS seed program of the federal government. And actually, this is yielding. This variety is with a potential of 6 to 7 metric tons of yield, and we have experienced an yield of 6.5 metric tons per hectare, which is not the case long time before. It has started giving a lot of good yields for the farmers, and this is part of the GS program. And this particular field is as part of the GS program. We are raising the seeds for the distribution to the GS program. It's a wonderful variety which has been developed in the past couple of years.
And so you get 6.
We have recorded the highest of 6.5 metric tons
6.5
on a
metric
commercial
tons.
level.
Yeah, and to get an understanding of that, on a farmer's field regularly, before we started the GS program, the average yield would be about 1.5
It was
2 tons, right?
Yeah, it was around 1.5 to 2 metric tons earlier
Per hectare.
when we started the outgrowth program way back in 2005 or so, 2005 to 2008. And it has these kind of varieties, and the GS program has really helped the farmers to get a very high level of yields now, with an average of more than 4 to 5 metric tons plus, which makes rice growing and cultivation very, very attractive in Nigeria.
Yeah. Mr. President directed that we need to start giving our seed out free of charge to all the farmers growing rice in the country.
And that's why you have the massive production that you're seeing now with rice in the country with good quality seed. And that's very important for you to see. Just as far as your eye can see high quality seed for rice. It's only one of them. There's also Faro 44 and Faro 52, which is on what side?
Yeah, just when we decided to start this project, this large-scale commercial farming project, we have decided to test out new varieties into this, along with West African varieties, which is produced by the Africa Rice Center. So we have brought in around 60 varieties of rice, different varieties of rice, including both hybrids as well as the inbred. And out of that, there are certain varieties which has yielded up to between 7 to 8 metric tons from the hybrid variety. So, and also there are some good inbred varieties also which has come from other countries, and we are in the final stages of doing the commercial analysis of that and waiting for getting the commercial yields, and which will not be bad. Definitely there is a lot of scope for very good hope that we can get a much higher yielding varieties into this country through these projects. And with the assistance of the federal government and especially from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture, and the yield improvement which has come into the country as of now, it is something which is very, very encouraging to the farmers and for investors like us in this country.
Okay, thank you. Let's move.
We'll need more years of very close study onto that.
So now I'm just putting emphasis on those lines that you have from
Grains that you have.
Yeah.
There are particular varieties that have high amylose content, and therefore if you put it inside the water, it swells, and so you can fill your stomach faster
Yeah,
than
for sure.
other varieties. What's the amylose content range of the ones you have here? You haven't tested?
We have it between 22 to 25,
Okay,
26.
that's not bad.
And when you bring in other varieties from other foreign countries, basically amylose content is one which is failing you in most of the cases. No, it goes below, especially hybrids. If it is not very well selected, it will come even down to 16, 17.
Now, I think just to make the technical thing easier, the point I'm asking him is a very important point. If you look at rice has different characteristics in ability to swell, right? So varieties that have high, what they call amylose content, when you put it inside of water, it swells. So if you're having birthdays or, ceremonies and so on, if you give everybody Uncle Ben's rice, you see they keep coming back for more because it doesn't fill the stomach.
Yeah.
Now these varieties have higher amylose content, which means that when you put them in the water, they swell in your stomach, right? And that's the point he's making. He's saying that introduced varieties and the rice that you get from outside have lower amylose content. So I think you should tell them, because I just want to explain what it means to them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is basically when the amylose content is less, then it's a problem. So we are always looking for amylose content about 22, above 20. And all our varieties here, it is Faro 44, Faro 52, it is between 24, 26. So it is much better than what you get from the foreign countries. So it is very important for us to get the varieties which is with a higher amylose content, so that the taste will be better and the characteristics will improve. So naturally we are looking for that.
So the rice that is grown locally, Faro 44, 52, has higher yield. It gives you long grain, parboiled,
Yes.
rice, and it has a higher amylose content, which means it can fill the stomach better.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, it's actually cost the consumer less because they eat more. They eat more for less.
Yeah.
It's a very important point. Okay, thanks. Let's go. All the rice varieties in Sierra Leone, and we try to measure the grain length, the grain color, the ability to swell. You find that farmers like varieties that swell because it's cheaper, it's better, and you can feed a lot of people much faster, and that's why in all the varieties we give, that's why it has a higher.
How healthy is it for diabetics?
It is healthier for anybody. It's just like any other rice. It just has a characteristics to swell in water. Yeah.
I beg you. I go to the front. No, why the lower this? Why the lower? Live there, live there. When the lower, they should lower the door. Go cross, go cross. Cola, cola. Don't mind this.
As a minister today, it's one of my happiest days as a minister. To know that the agricultural transformation agenda of the president and what the president said about Nigeria being self-sufficient in rice by 2015, they were very close to doing that. As far as I'm concerned as a minister, once the president says something, his word must never fall to the ground. It has to be carried out. We started working on this very hard 3 years ago. Right here in Olam, they started this operation in 2012. They actually got it started in 2011. but their first planting was in 2012. And you can see the whole of the area here is a total cultivated right now of 3,000 hectares. They grow twice a year. They grow in the wet season. They also grow in the dry season. You can see that they are cultivating two major varieties of rice, which is called Faro 44 and Faro 52. These are long-grain parboiled rice varieties that we give to all farmers across the country. In fact, Olam is one of the major suppliers of high-quality seed to our farmers across the country. This particular farm that you see here produces 72,000 metric tons of paddy per year. And that tells you how much things have been going. All behind me, you see the huge combine harvesters that they have. This particular combine harvesters harvest 20 hectares per day. And you can see that they have aerial space, they have everything else. This is commercial agriculture, which we need to have, and also we need to have together with our own smallholder agriculture. All around, they are working right now to have roughly about almost 3,000 or so outgrowers, farmers, that also are working all around them. In this particular place alone, they have about 950 workers that are working for them, almost 350 of them working in the field. Most of those are women. So the point I want to make is that it's fantastic to be here to see that within 3 years, actually 2.5 years, of the launch of the agricultural transformation agenda and the rice transformation agenda of Mr. President, that you have an investment here of about $72 million that is making things work. I firmly believe that Nigeria will be a net exporter of rice. We should be the Thailand for rice in Africa, and that's why we are going to put everything at it. Today, as I speak to you, we produced last year as a country, in the 2013 wet season and the dry season of 2014, a total of 2.94 million metric tons of additional paddy. If you mill that, that comes about to 1.9 million metric tons of milled rice. The total amount we import is about 2.3 million metric tons of rice. So we are this close to being self-sufficient in rice. And what we are working on right now is to have a lot more mills that can mill this rice into high-quality rice and find it all over the market. If you're building a skyscraper, one day you get on the top of the skyscraper and you say, gee, this is great. But you have to realize that the foundations have to be built. And I think we are getting there. Yeah.
Sir, now how does the federal government intend to enhance the PPE initiative, the private and public-private sector initiative, since this is what has now turned to be the driving force in achieving the present transformation agenda in the agriculture sector?
First and foremost is that under this president, agriculture is not a development.